Well, hello, Facebook. We are live and we are thrilled to pieces to be here. This is Dr. Michael Gross, and I'm
Hello,
Tia.
everyone.
We have a wonderful message for you from Michael, and I just want to go ahead and thank everybody for joining us because it is our Thursday night. We do this every Thursday night, so we're going to get right to the heart of the matter. And I'll go ahead and introduce Michael. Our topic today is called The Shift. So you have something to think about while I introduce him, okay? Dr. Michael Gross is an author, professional keynote speaker, transformational coach, and an entrepreneur. For more than 3 decades, he's been on a spiritual path as an intuitive, a healer, a spiritual counselor, and an incredible teacher. Through the guidance of spirit, Michael has assisted others in their personal quest for self-empowerment, helping them to create the lives that they have long sought and to bring forth their intuitive abilities. Michael currently teaches classes in Reiki, self-empowerment, and spirituality, as well as other modalities. In concert with God, the true source, he has also achieved great success and miraculous healings. But he remains humble, knowing that the work that he does all comes from God, the true source. He lives currently in Lakewood, Washington, and has recently launched his incredible nonprofit. So I'm going to go ahead and turn this over to Michael. You share a little bit about the nonprofit. Why don't you just move right on into the topic today, okay?
Absolutely. Thank you. You've heard about me talking before. It's called the International Institute of Self Empowerment, or TIISC, TISI, and it's all about helping abused women, children, and men who have been going through a horrendous life and finding themselves. And I feel one of the greatest experts in it is Tia Knapp, and I asked her to be the director of that division, which she agreed to. So thank you. I also want to thank you to you that, when we start to do this broadcast, you are very busy typing in all kinds of information into the chat. So I appreciate you doing that when I get started. So thank you. I wanted to talk to all of you about the shift, and it's something very important. And all of us are in cycles, life cycles, and they could be 3 year cycles, although I haven't seen any, but 5, 7, 9, 11, 15, so on, year cycles. Well, really, what does that mean? It really means that every so many years, whether you're on a cycle of, let's say 7, I'll pick a number 7, and that means every 7 years, there's something that changes in your life. If that's your life cycle, it could be 8 or 9 or more or less, but I just happen to pick the number 7. And so understanding that is that, let's say you're 35 years old. Okay, so somewhere between 33 and age 34, what happens is there's things that come up in your life, sometimes a traumatic or crisis, or sometimes you're upset or not sure, and it's just your soul letting you know that you're about to make a major shift in your life. Or let's say if you're in a 7 year cycle, and that would be you're going to be 49, but right now you're only 46 or 47, you know, that means you're going to go through another change of energy. What I wanted to talk to you about is Mother Earth. And so this is the year 2023. She is going through another cycle or a change of energy, which is so important. And that's what I mean by the shift. So when the shift comes in our lives, we can go creaking, screaming, yelling, and I'm going to do this, and pity me, look at me. And what happens is you end up going that way, reluctantly kicking, screaming, and yelling. But the major shift isn't powerful. Since we all have a symbiotic relationship with everybody we meet, our family, friends, and relatives, we also have one with Mother Earth. And she too is going through a major shift of energy, and it's happening this year, which happens to be a 7 year, which is very interesting. 7 is a very powerful number. And instead of telling you what 7 means, I'm going to challenge each one of you to look up numerology, the number 7. And I'm doing that intentionally for you to get used to some numbers and what numbers mean. So that's really key for us in our life. But this shift on Mother Earth is also affecting us. For example, even though you may be only 1/3 or 2/3 or 3/4 of the way of your life cycle shifting, everything around you is going to affect you. Just think about you're taking a walk and all of a sudden a thunderstorm comes down and you're really throwing off balance and you're wet and maybe hail. All of a sudden you're by an area and there's a flood or a landslide. It throws you off to some degree. Well, Mother Earth is now going through this major shift, is actually throwing us off because of our symbiotic relationship. Means we're in harmony and balance with Mother Earth. She's in harmony and balance with us. And if you don't think so, the examples I brought up about the weather or all the stresses in life that's going on, it's really important for us to know that. When I talk about this shift is that Mother Earth is shifting into another higher vibration and frequency. And it's up to us. Do we want to go to that higher vibration and frequencies? And all you have to do is be open to it. Don't judge it. Don't criticize. Just however it's going to affect me, I know it'll be positive. And the truth is, every shift that we go through is positive, except that our human side, of course, our ego, meaning as you got out again, is fighting it because we don't like changes as a whole. Changes are the unknown. It's frightening. It's scary. And other times it's beautiful and wonderful. It depends upon your thoughts how you're going to welcome this change, which is already going into the 6th month of this year. Oh, really, what does that mean? It means just to be in harmony, balance with the shift of Mother Earth. And that is so very, very important to be in harmony, balance. And once we realize that we're now in harmony and balance with Mother Earth, then we realize there's something else that's going to be occurring. And that is we have to change our thinking. Of course, when you go through a change, many people, I don't want to change. I don't want to do this. I'm afraid what's going to happen tomorrow morning. Am I going to lose my health? I'm going to lose my business. I'm going to die. All this stuff is going on. So shifts of energy are very powerful. And it means that we have to change our thinking. We look upon the planet right now. What's happening? Well, we see a lot of chaos. We see war. We see doubt. We see riots. We see all these things that are occurring. And of course, you go to the internet, you're going to see a whole bunch of stuff. And you know the old saying, if it's on the internet, it must be true. That was the old joke. The truth of the matter is part of the shift is going to be very, very positive. And the other part's going to be challenging. And that part that's challenging, we're going to have to make that strong decision. Do we want to be part of it? I was watching something on artificial intelligence. And it's always been my contention that AI is pretty good. All these whatever they call them, have all this information. But where do they get this information from? From everybody that posts on the internet. So if someone posted that people that are 4'2" are aliens from Andromeda, and they post that, they're going in the chat, will turn around. Anybody that's 4'2" is a alien from Andromeda. I mean, it's ridiculous, right? But it's going to give you information like that. Plus, it doesn't have the power to think. It just gathers information. On the other hand, you could use it for something else to gather other types of information, which could speed things up. So therefore, if I wanted to look up the law about speeding in the state of Washington or somewhere, I could Google it or go to chat and it would list all the states that have the highest speed limits. In a way, that's good. But most importantly, when you are writing something, when you're expressing something, do you read that out of a book or does it come from your heart and your soul? That's what we need to look at. Because in this shift that's coming about, it's the shift of looking deep within ourselves, our soul, and our heart, and then expressing ourselves. That's so important. Not what somebody else says. What do you feel in here? Because part of that shift is changing your vibrations. And all shifts embrace love. Sometimes it's love that we don't want to shift to. Sometimes it was grace and ease. And sometimes it's very challenging. But if you want to fight it, we have an old saying in the business world, and that is you can win the argument and lose the sale. So if that's what you're interested, go for it. And I know Tia wanted to say something, so go ahead, Tia.
I wanted to ask you, you talk about AI, and I know that a long time ago, you shared this before too, that when we're watching things on TV or in a movie or something, it's that subtle little message that's coming in, like buy chocolate at the little store in front of the movie theater, that little counter. And now, do you, with all these people, we have our phones, we have our devices, we have our TV and whatnot. Do you see AI coming in and doing something like back in the day when we had the movie thing going on? The subliminal messages?
Yes, I remember in the theaters they would have subliminal messages, buy Coke or Pepsi, buy popcorn, and they finally outlawed it being, occurring. Well, think about this, everyone. That's a very good point. Thank you. How do we get information? Audibly or with our eyes? And we're reading it. So with chat, it's going to be what we're reading. And that means everything you read or hear is going to go into your subconscious mind, whether it's true or not. Now, every word, every sound has a sound, a frequency, and vibration. Whether you're reading it, you're looking at that word. If I said bell, you immediately know what a bell looks like mentally. You know that it makes a sound of some type. It's shaped like a bell. So not only when you read it, but you picked up the vibration and energy and thoughts of that bell and the color. Because you may remember a bronze bell, silver bell, black bell, whatever it may be. All those thoughts are there. Therefore, we have to be very careful what we read or hear, because, as I say, if you tell a lie long enough, people will believe it. And all we need to look at what happened in World War II with the Nazis and Germany and some of the Italy and some of the other countries that we fought against. And of course, when we look at World War One, how that got started, which the assassination of Archduke Ferdinand. So understanding all this and the passions that's going on is that we have to be very selective what we read, what we hear, and what we believe in. Now, a lot of people will go to fact checked and all that stuff. Although it's been pointed out eventually that a lot of fact checkers either belong to one political party or another political party. So part of the shift that is going on is, what do you feel in your heart? What is your gut feeling? What's your intuitive feeling? What's your psychic feeling? What is it? Have you ever experienced something you're like, it doesn't feel right, or this is really great, or you met a person, this is great. I just want to be around them. I feel I've known you all my life, or someone like, I'm staying away from them. Boy, I don't know what it is, but I don't want any part of them. So you see, we're all influenced by energy, and we're all energy. So this shift that is occurring on Mother Earth, she's going to a higher frequency and vibration and energy. And she's going, hey, Earthlings, come on, I'll take you for a drag. Meaning, we're going to work on you to raise your vibrations. And what do they teach? Well, they don't teach much about Mother Nature in schools. Certainly, a lot of the religiosity doesn't teach that. And certainly, they're always the doubting Thomas and prove it, prove it, prove it. And through the years that I've been doing this work, no matter how much proof, what experiences, they are never satisfied. And I understood why, because they don't want to believe what they're hearing and want to make a change. So they're going to look for you to slip up, and that's what's going to happen. And it's very, very fascinating, as I mentioned before with my sister before she birthed out of her body, and she said, what's going to happen in the month of, let's say, June. And I don't believe in this S, she would say, what's going to happen? So I tell her 12 things. And then the next month, well, 11 things came through, but the 12th didn't. And my answer is, you have free will and free choice. Did you block it? Then she wouldn't answer me. The truth is, she blocked it. And that's her free will and free choice. I really don't care. I love my sister when she was alive and looked after her in many ways that people won't understand and know. But on the other hand, you have that free will and free choice to block anything you so desire. What I'm asking all of you to do is to be open that things are changing and not to be in fear, you know, and that gut feeling, an intuitive feeling, whatever you want to call it, just turn around, stop for a moment, and say, feels right or it doesn't feel right. Forget everything in terms of, well, do you think this is right? 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 So if you go to 40 people, you're going to get 40 different answers, or 40 plus, 40 minus, or 20 plus, 20 minus, whatever it is. This is all you need to pay attention to in the shift, because the shift is saying over the next few years, the sweetness is going to hit the fan. And you know what I mean by that? That means we are going to be tested in our faith and belief. And how do you really faith and belief? Well, let me explain that. Let's set aside religiosity. Bring something into play, because in this major shift, it is the opportunity for each one of us to listen to the thoughts of our soul and to listen to true inner source guidance instead of going back to some belief system. It's a major change that's coming up in your life. And these major changes are going to create health, joy, happiness, prosperity, and abundance, or sickness, illness, loss, perhaps bankruptcy, and perhaps anxiety and illness. Your choice. You're not a victim. No one is a victim. You are the person who can go along with this shift. Say, I don't know what the outcome's coming, but whatever it is, I just believe it's going to be a positive thing. And I was working with a couple of clients this past week. Well, I talked to them a little bit about this. Well, I want to know what's going to happen tomorrow morning, and on and on and on. I said, I'm sorry. Even if I knew, which I don't, it's something you have to experience to have faith and trust that you are a divine soul, that you're an aspect of the true source. And the true source does not punish you, create chaos, sickness, illness, etc., etc., etc. It is part of life, and that you are the sole creator of your life and in charge of your life. I remember when I was in nursing home business, and one of my patients said, well, I have breast cancer. I said, okay. And she said, God's punishing me. God's punishing me. I looked at her, no, 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 no. Certain things happen in life for a reason. And she didn't have any family that showed up. And I promised her when she came out of recovery, I would be there. She's about 70, and there I was to support her. And she became cancer free and she was fine. But that's some of the feelings that we have. Why is God punishing me? Why is this? Why is that? See, part of the shift is to realize that the only vibration and frequency of the true source, of God, the true source, is love. Period. End of report. That's it. Just love. It's like looking at a wall and it's white. Not pink white, it's not orange white, not blue white. It's white. But I watch some people discern, well, it's a little off white. It could be a little brighter white. It could be, shinier, or it could be dull. It's white. Hello. That's all it is. And so I asked True Source, well, why are they analyzing everything to death? It's because they're insecure, they're unsure, and they want proof, all the proof they can get, and on and on and on, and they're never happy. They always want to move to the next step. And I honor them and accept that. The truth of the matter is, some things just are. This is the planet Earth, period. That's it. This is grass. It's not Kentucky grass. It's not fescue. It's grass. See how simple that is? Why does our human mind, especially now coming up in the shift, have to overanalyze? And the answer is we're fearful that maybe we're making this up. Maybe it's not true. And when you fall into that trap, what happens is you lose control of your life and plunge yourself into a life of fear, doubt, and insecurity. And how do you change? Simple. Let it go and move forward. I want to remind everybody when I ask the true source, why is spirituality so hard? And the true source said, you humans have to make a big deal out of everything. And I kind of chuckled. And I've passed this on to you probably before. But I want you to understand that things are simple. Your life now, because of your challenges, are going to have to be made simple. And that's what's more important. Just accept what is. Ask for true inner source guidance. Listen to the thoughts of your soul. And if you don't get it right away, don't worry. Just say, hey, whenever it's right, I'll get it. You could be brushing your teeth and you'll hear, go down the store, there's a sale on lettuce. You go down, there's the sale. See how easy it is when you get out of your way. And as I always like to say, no expectations, no attachments. Because most of the time when your ego says this is going to happen, remember the ego, not only will tell you something, but it'll give you the wherefore, whys, and reasons. Whereas your soul, or the true source, buy the lettuce. Period. You go down, you get a great parking spot, find out it's on sale. Oh, that's why it's supposed to be here. Now I am oversimplifying this, but the truth of the matter is that in this major shift that's coming up, it's asking you, the true source, and your soul, just be in the flow. No matter how difficult things become, you will get through it easily and effortlessly instead of trying to force everything in your life. Because you're forcing out of fear, out of insecurity, and lack of belief. Do you want to say something?
I do. That's like that quote that you say, when you're out of control, you're in control, right?
Correct.
So, like you said, why is it that as humans we have to make everything so complicated? How is it that we have to hold on so tight to the stuff that we're trying to control when really what we need to do is peel our fingers off everything and just let it be? How do we
Well,
get over that hump?
the reason is, of course, is you're taught to analyze everything in your education. Or perhaps you learn to educate in your education of life, you analyze everything because you're not taught to trust. You're not taught to believe that you are worthy of everything that's beautiful. So religiosity says, if you do this, you're going to be punished. You're a sinner. You're this and that. No, 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 no. The most important thing we have to realize is that you're an aspect of the true source. Remember, in the Old Testament it said you're made in the image of God. Jesus said the kingdom of heaven is within. These are all the hints. Therefore, why would a loving God let you lose everything and let you go down the tubes and suffer unless you create that in your life? And as a very good friend of mine has said, there's reverse engineering. I often said, how'd you create it? You uncreate it. Isn't that so simple? But I'd like to address this more next week because I know we're running through a little time. We're at almost the 23-minute, and I know we want to end in a half an hour. But I would invite all of you to give comments. Go to the chat, ask some questions, and perhaps I'll be able to clear it up more easily. Because in this major shift, you're going to create your life differently, a new world. And as you know, when you're out of control, you're in control. That means when you stop controlling everything, doors open up. Let's say there are 50 doors. You walk through one and go, nah, I don't like this. Well, you got 49 other doors to look. Oh, no, I don't like this. When you're out of control, you're in control. You choose the door you want to walk through. In other words, the life that you want to have. So everyone think about this. We'll give you more information next week. With Tito, we have some important things we want to share. And I want to share with you that every Tuesday evening from 6:30 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. Pacific Daylight Savings Time, I have called Soul Awakening, where you ask, questions, any question you so desire on spirituality. And hopefully I can answer it for you, and that'll help you become more enlightened and more empowered in your life. To access that, you can do it on preconferencecall.com. And that telephone number is
It's Tuesday night at 6:30 Pacific Daylight Time, like Michael said, and the number you dial in is 202-926-1059, and the access code, Michael?
125446 pound.
Perfect. One more time, okay? It's 202-926-1059, and the code?
Access code 125446 pound. Now, the second Saturday of every month, I call it the Mass Consciousness Healing. And what I do is from 9:55 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time to 11:01 Pacific Daylight Time. We get together as a group, we do a meditation, and allow ourselves to be a conduit of the true source of unconditional love and spread it out all over this planet, everything that exists in this planet, and even far, far greater. To access that, same telephone number as the Tuesday night. Would you give that one more time?
Sure, it's also in the comments, but here's the number: 202-926-1059.
And the access
And the
code is
code?
125446 pound. So I invite everyone to participate in it because it is important. And I assure you, it will change your life for the month to come. And we have what I call the replays or the recordings. Every Tuesday evening, not only do we have that soul awakening, but I deliver a 10 to 12 minute message that's very important for you in your life. There's over 130 or 40 of them. We give you exact number, but whatever it is. And start at number 3 and just ask, I want to go to number 27, or you punch in the number 27 or 99, whatever it is. Just punch it in. And I can't help but tell you, everybody goes, ah, I didn't know what it was, but it's a perfect one for me to listen to. So, in order to access that, all you need to do is dial
434-300-4170. And the code, Michael?
125446 pound. One more time, please.
Yep. 434-300-4170. And the access code?
125446 pound. And everyone, I want to encourage all of you to watch the recordings of this. You go to Dr. Michael B. Gross, YouTube. There'll be a list of the motivational messages that I leave, and you'll see a quote and a beautiful picture by the award-winning photographer Giuseppe, as well as some of these podcasts. I encourage all of you to do that because, when you listen to something several times, I have to tell you, you get more information. Also, as we mentioned before, the second edition of my book, The Spiritual Primer, is now out, and there's more information. I haven't quite put it onto Amazon yet, but T will give you information. I'll send you a signed copy. And the reason I haven't put it on Amazon yet is I have one used book for $298. Whoever put it on will get $298 less the commission to Amazon. But I will be getting it on shortly. But I really feel that if you email me and you desire a book with your address and a way to pay for it, it'll be really, really great. And there's a little discount to it. So I want to encourage you. And the reason we talk about our books is, you've heard me say this before, we don't view our books as a business. We're not trying to sell you anything. We're trying to share enlightenment, empowerment, and self-worth, self-love, and self-esteem. And this is a TU book, Healing the Holes in Your Soul, by Tia Knapp, Story of a Woman Rising from the Ashes like the Phoenix. So I encourage you, all of you, to read this book.
So I'd like to add one thing, Michael.
Sure.
If it wasn't for this book and this wonderful gentleman sitting right next to me on the virtual screen, that book that he's holding wouldn't be written. That's how powerful the lessons that he teaches us are, because we are the creators of our life. And we do have the opportunity to change the things that are bothering us, to make our life better when we follow the whispering words within our soul, Michael, right? And
Right.
start here. This is second edition. And if you email Michael for your own copy, you can get a signed copy by Michael. You can't get a signed copy on Amazon. So I just thought I'd let you know. And also, Michael, you've got over 200 recordings on YouTube.
Okay, well, thank you.
You're welcome.
Everyone, I would like all of you to know that my mission and goal, which I am commanded to do, that means I have no choice, is to help you reconnect with the true source so that you can do your spiritual missions and goals. Yours, not mine, not to use, yours. And by awakening your soul and realizing what your spiritual mission and goals are, you can turn this earth around from one of chaos to a proverbial Garden of Eden of love. That's not airy-fairy. It can happen in our lifetime. Therefore, my personal goal is to get 1% of the population. We have roughly close to 8 billion people. So if we look at 8 billion people, right, and 1% of that would be 80 million people, if my math is correct. If it isn't, so what? That's a huge number. Small, 1%, but it's huge. And that will turn the tide. So I want to thank everyone who tunes in every week. Please spread the word. Know that we truly, truly love you and that you are unlimited. Namaste. Know that we love you. We love you. Have a great week, everyone.
Love you. Thank you.